Alright, looks like it's working. Working? Excellent connection. Fantastic. I've been in the sunshine all day. My voice might be a little dry. I'm very sunned out. But here we are. I'm on the beach on the North Kohala. Let's see here. Yeah, I haven't had too much internet today, so I haven't been able to actually check up in the earnings call. So, what did I do today? I sat on the beach. Early in the morning, read about Janet Yellen sending a letter to Congress saying, hey dudes, you gotta raise the debt ceiling or else we're all screwed. And New York Times reported on it, CNBC reported on it, The Hill reported on it, and I'm sure others. So now we're past Labor Day. We start getting economic news. It's a little Jerome Powell announced that the economy wasn't doing as well last month as they had hoped it would. We added 5,000 less jobs than they thought we would. Yeah, so I think the economy is kind of in the pooper zone here. Well, yeah, stocks haven't done much. I really haven't had a chance to check the earning call. So, you know, if any of you guys want to pop the basics of the earnings call in there, I did not see it. I had like no internet where I was earlier today. But just so you can see where I am right now, I'll give you a little tour of the neighborhood. I am out here at, what am I, Analehu Beach Park on Malu Beach Park. There we go. Oh great, now the resolution is bouncing all over the place. Oh, not receiving a video, you jerk. Well, get the phone really close, make sure it works. At least hopefully you can hear me. I got a taco shirt on, and there's your update. Let's go to the phones. Okay. And according to my computer, I have 1 hour, 29 minutes on the battery, so it might be a short show, if anything. It was a full battery when I opened this thing up, but man, it goes fast once you're doing video. World Breaker asks, can AMC hit 6 figures? Yes. Yes, it can. Okay. Oh, there's no intro today because I forgot to load the intro onto this computer. So I don't have the ability to do the intro on my laptop. But I have the intro on my desktop at home. So the intro is on vacation while I'm here. I'm also stuck doing this show standing up because I've got the computer sitting on a tree. I can't find a table anywhere to save my life. Which is not true. There's a few tables over there that are part of a restaurant, but they won't let me sit there. Man, my voice is... Man, the sunshine just takes it out of you. Let's just drink water. I wish I had like a lozenge. It's weird to do a show with like girls in bikinis just sitting right over there. Okay. Okay, Hoshi Gaming, Houston. Do you think we will see action tomorrow on shorted stocks due to futures contracts? We better. Tomorrow's the last day to do any of that stuff, and there really hasn't been much action since last week. So let's see some action. The only thing that was really did anything today, as far as I could tell, looking at ye old charts here, was Root, I believe. Everything else got hit hard. AMC down, GME down, cost down, metamaterial down. Yeah, Root went up like $1. Other meme stocks, Be Big, kind of flat. Blackberry down, Naked down, Clove down. Yeah. The banks were all down today. Interesting. But, yeah. Alibaba's a weird stock. It like goes up 5%, down 5%, depending like day by day. So they better if they want to have anything for those futures contracts, need to be buying up stocks. I guess one of the warnings that was put out in the futures and the earnings call was that GME is heavily shorted and that short hedge funds are still trading too much with short positions. Nick Callis. When the MOASS happens, will the indexes be able to sell, and do the good hedge funds even care, or is it about killing Citadel over gaining money? I think they're going to do both. I think in order to do both, you have to make money to kill Citadel. So, yeah, I would think that these hedge funds don't just want to kill Citadel; they want to make a fortune for themselves and go down in history as legends. You know, the guy at whatever hedge fund who tells their bosses to go long on these meme stocks is going to have a corner office at wherever he goes for the rest of his life. Another one from Nick. Who is the best villain of all time? Darth Vader, Doc Ock, or Shonuff, the Shogun of Harlem? Oh, man. Best villain of all time. I'll ponder on that one. Ken Griffin, maybe? Oh, guys crack me up. Come on, computer. Scroll. Tensai's Creon's futures rollover theory incorrect. Did funds find a new loophole? Perhaps they did. But we did see like crazy price action led everyone to believe that it was correct. And they got tomorrow basically to do their nastiness. But maybe they're figuring out new ways to use default swaps, or not default swaps, keep saying that, debt swaps to ride this out. Yeah, my voice does sound strained. I spent a long day yesterday climbing all over the lava flows out in Puna, and where Leilani Estates got wiped out, and Pohiki Beach got wiped out, and Kapoho Bay got wiped out. So there's like crazy lava rivers that went through there. So I didn't get to see them. I only got to see video footage when it was happening. But my Leaky Lava Man, Leaky Mountain, took me out there and showed me all the spots. So a lot of chit-chatting, and my voice is totally like buggered today. Okay, Matthew says GME earnings was 8 minutes, emphasized they care a lot more about top-line revenue growth than EPS, and they took the money they made and are reinvesting it for growth. Still 1.75 billion cash on hand. Right on. Dolomite. Okay. Sorry, I don't know if you can see me very well. I'm kind of leaned on a tree. I have to do this one all standing today. Tensai, why is Vanguard faffing about? Can't they just push AMC over 48.50 and decimate the opposition? I mean, well, I don't know if Vanguard is like the least active traders in the entire world. They just buy like one of everything and then go from there. And they just count on the entire market just rising as it does over time. I don't know if they have anyone actively like taking positions at Vanguard that can, you know, push a stock one way or the other. I think they just let nature take its course. I'm gonna drink like 6 liters of water today. Oh, you son of a biscuit. My water bottle holder keeps falling down. Stay. Houston, what do you think about GME AMC partnership? I saw someone tweet a thing saying that Adam Aaron had reached out to some sort of partnership. If I were to take a bet, it would be either live streaming professional gaming or doing local gaming tournaments at AMC theaters. Those would be my guesses. So I think it's a brilliant thing because it puts both of them on the map, and it's great for marketing. And theaters right now could use the traffic. I mean, if you go to a theater, you see like, oh, we're going to be showing the Russian ballet version of, you know, Romeo and Juliet. get your tickets for the special event. How many people actually go to the special event for those things? More people are going to go show up to watch, badass gamers play, Fortnite or whatever at a tournament for money. The UFC stuff they do was a pretty brilliant move also. Oh, I was from Benjamin Ham. CBDBC. Do you think Shiba will blow up when the squeeze is done? I hope so. I have like 54 million of them on a whim. I'd love for them to get to a couple of cents. That's, we're talking almost retirement area there. If it gets to $1, damn son, I'd be so happy. Okay. Be real time. What's likely to happen? You returning with a mean sunburn or the MOASS? I think both of those odds are 1. Greater than 0. Probably got burned today. That's probably why my body's shutting down right now. Jay Cudmore, thoughts on the Astros cycle theory? Someone sent me a link to that while I was at the other beach and I couldn't open it yet, so I haven't actually read the Astros cycle theory. I'll have to get in on that and figure out what they're talking about with it. And then I can give you an answer there, Jay. West Wind, what do you think of the meme stock ETF? I think it is a way for short hedge funds to short stocks without having to borrow them. They can just peel apart the ETFs. That's what I think it's for. Chicago Transit Minority. Is it possible that every stock ever has a ridiculous amount of synthetics and the MOASS could eviscerate the entire US stock market? I had thought about this. If you are shorting stocks for the sake of shorting them into oblivion, why wouldn't you just short a blue chip a whole bunch and just pocket the cash and walk away, right? You just dump an offshore account, close your fund, disappear, and that's that. Just, short Apple, short Amazon. Of course, they keep steadily climbing, so it makes it really hard to get away with that. So maybe not. But in the short term, short the hell out of them. Short 1 million shares of Apple, put the cash in a Cayman's account, and close your fund. Aww. Nick Callis again. Though the banks in the Cayman Islands take 25 or 30% off the top to protect money, this would mean Griffin incinerated like $3 billion. I'm not sure exactly what the banks do down there, because you never hear about, Cayman Island banks investing in real estate businesses or giving out loans. They just know that money goes there and stays there. And it's all about money laundering. So if you're putting money in an offshore account, you're probably actually paying interest rather than receiving interest on that money. So I wouldn't doubt if, there's lawyers in the Caymans that take their cut, and officials in the Caymans take their cut, and banksters in the Caymans that take their cut. So, yeah. I mean, that's the price you pay, Nick. If you want to move money out of the U.S. and hide it from the government, you've got to pay off some other officials that have, that are sovereign, have diplomatic immunity. Solana went up? Oh, crazy. All right. Shiba. Oops. Sorry. This computer is even harder for me to scroll than my other computers. So, gotta figure out where everyone was. There we go. Shiba. Legacy 10 production after MOASS, will you still try to own part of the Seattle Mariners? If so, how do you go about owning part of a sports franchise if some of us want to go that route for MOASS? Go Mariners. Well, it's an ownership group that has the Mariners now. Nintendo sold off their majority share to the ownership group. I can't remember who the majority owner is right now. But those guys, quite a few of them are like total clowns. earlier this year, the president of the Mariners, and he said a bunch of racist stuff when he thought he was off camera and disparaging things, and it actually cost him not only his job, I think his ownership position as well. Yeah, he said really disparaging things about Latin players. The big problem was that they had brought in a woman to be the athletic trainer for the Mariners. Girl has 2 PhDs, 2 master's degrees, worked for NASA, absolute badass. Worked for NBA, worked for Tennis Association as a trainer, and she was supposed to be like the strength and agility coach for the Mariners. And immediately they were really sexist to her, and they didn't have her like work with the Mariners themselves. And then they said really horrible things about the Latin players. And she came out publicly. She's like, look, these guys are saying really racist stuff about their players and being quite horrible to the Latin players, especially the Dominicans. And the Mariners fired her, so she sued for wrongful termination and is being all tied up in arbitration and everything. And then on a hot mic, the president of the Mariners basically reaffirmed everything that she had said the Mariners were all about. And they had to pay her a bunch of money to settle that case. And oops. So I'd like to see a much better ownership team for the Mariners in the future. Okay, Nick Callis, he said crypto is being pumped and dumped. You were wrong. Oh wait, never mind, my bad. Yeah, I mean, they dropped that sucker 15% yesterday in a couple of hours. And then Coinbase shut off trading. And Coinbase is now under investigation from the SEC for their really weird lending scheme for hedge funds, because hedge funds are using that to build capital, basically borrow margin and do other work, do other stuff. So, yeah, the crypto market, I think, is in for a rude awakening from regulators in the near future. In Will, what the hell was that GME's earnings call today? I didn't get to hear it. I got the one sentence lowdown in the chat there. What do FTDs matter when most people don't exercise options? They just sell the contracts. Well, that's true. Most people do just sell the contracts because they don't necessarily have the cash on hand to exercise them. They can do a call to close where, you know, if it's up enough over the strike price, your brokerage will sell a few shares to cover the difference and then give you the rest. So sometimes they do that. But, you know, I think for people to sit on their options, they need the price to keep climbing, not just like bounce off 350 and go back down and bounce off 350 and go back down. So people are just taking the quick cash on that. Thank you for the super chats, by the way. Where's my water? My water's sitting on a stump down below me here. Vernon, is there another period of time that you're aware of that has so many different potential squeeze plays happening in a short time frame? No. I don't think in history there's been so many. Because, you know, when the economy's taken a dump in the past, and these stocks were all shorted like crazy back then, retail was not paying attention. Retail was part of it, where retail was dumping their shares and causing the price to drop even further than dumping their shares. And so the short hedge funds would make out like bandits in that situation. But now retail is paying attention to it and seeking out shorted stocks that perhaps should have been obliterated, but they're pumping them back up again. So we're in a really, really, really weird situation that nobody has instructions for. Just buy and hold, really, for us anyway. World Breaker, Houston ready for the Matrix 4 trailer tomorrow? I am. I went to the Matrix website, which gave like little 30-second previews of the trailer, but I mean, I saw the Matrix in the theater like 20 times. The first time I saw it was with my brother, and we like went in the bathroom, came out, went back into the theater, and watched it again because it was just so mind-blowing. I mean, it's probably the way people felt when they first saw Star Wars in '77, with, you know, the Star Destroyer just going over them, and everyone going ah. But it blew my mind then. It still blows them. I'll still pop in every once in a while and watch it again. Kyle Banta, having too much fun there, Houston. 1, do you think MOASS will occur before end of year? 2, thoughts on a major equities correction early October? 3, are BBig and Root on your squeeze list? I think BBig and Root are both squeeze plays, along with hundreds of others at this point. Yeah, I broke down and bought a little bit of Root just to see where it goes. Sorry, my videos, I'm getting another worm. My video is hating me right now. Okay, first of all, do I think MOASS occurs before end of year? Yes. Because I think, it goes to your second question, I think because there's going to be a correction before October. If there's a correction, then the assets under management for the hedge fund shrink, their ratio of margin thus increases, and they get margin called. But they get margin called at a time when the banks won't have the cash on hand available to help them inject liquidity into those hedge funds. So I think that is the big mechanism we can see to cause the MOASS. Mike Angelo. Oh, thank you for that super chat, Mike Angelo. If you got a question, pop it in there. I'll try to read it. Stephen Latham, I think I saw the float for BBig was 54 million, and yet today 312 million shares traded. How is this not a huge red flag to the SEC? How is that even possible to trade that much without naked? Exactly. You are correct, Stephen Latham. You nailed it. I mean, yes, theoretically you can trade the same stock 150 million times or whatever, back and forth, but even that should be considered market manipulation. That's why I think they should slow the market down. That you shouldn't be able to trade shares within fractions of a second of receiving it. You should have to, trade it and wait 10 minutes before you trade it again. Frank Mulak, have you seen the press releases by Graphene Manufacturing? Not recently. I know that this month they were going to try and get their first production models of their batteries out, and they just in the process of selling a bunch of shares to raise money to build a large facility in, I think, Queensland. So we're waiting on that. So I'll have to check. I'll have to look for what new press releases they've sent out. Boss says cut operating costs by 50% while also opening a new fulfillment center and customer care center. GME, I take it. Required to show you my shirt, of course. Tacos. Got lots and lots of tacos with bony little taco hands grabbing them. Okay. Oh, the chat is so much faster than I am. You guys are flying. Oh, I forgot to put timestamps, at least I know where I am. There we go. Alright. So I'm only 15 minutes behind the chat? 16 minutes behind the chat? Eh, 15 minutes behind on the chat. Baldurabi 85 GME earnings news. Apparently GME earning news is we've got a bunch of money, we're improving our company, branching into more markets. So it's pretty straightforward, I think. Kyle Banta for your new truck phone. Thank you. Thank you so much. Andrew Stewart, killed on last charity. Next national park, should I go to Denali, Zion, or Glacier? Other recommendations? Well, depends on when you're going. If it's like right now, Zion or Glacier. I'd wait for Denali until next summer. This time of year can get a little... But my cousin just got back from Denali. She's got amazing photographs. But and my other cousin lives in Glacier now. So, go visit family. and you got to go to Glacier before the glaciers are actually gone, because they'll be gone very soon. So I recommend checking out Glacier. My first time at Glacier, I was 9 years old. Camped this campground next to the lake. I don't remember what campground it was, but I had little G.I. Joes, And I ran off into the woods, go play with them and like rappel them off of things. And I found this big block of mica, and there's these sheets of mica, like huge sheets, would just peel off. And I didn't know what I found. I thought it was like cellophane or something, and I thought someone had like thrown trash on the ground. And then I found out later that it was actually a rock. I still have that rock in my collection. Where is it? It's probably in a box somewhere. But I still have that big block of mica. I took it with me. Myers, go. Why do you look like you're kidnapped somewhere in the woods? I'm not. I am on the ocean. There we go. I might be a little shadow here. We'll see if we can, if that works. I can't quite tell. Is it working? Yeah, I'm a little bit silhouetted, but I'm here in Hawaii on the beach. Just that the light's better shining me on the forest here, so that's why it looks like I'm kidnapped in the woods. William Morgan on May 26th, SEC asked GME for documents pertaining to their trading. Yes. And then GME released a press release saying it has nothing to do with us, but has to do with how others are trading our stocks, I believe. Fee rhymes with AMC. Do you think MOASS will have an impact on political climate worldwide? Of course. I mean, they're going to be creating a whole bunch of new millionaires and possibly billionaires out of this thing, and it's going to upheaval a lot of political power in the area. Sorry, my video is really terrible right now. Come on, phone. You got full bars, buddy. You can do this. I think 5G means different things on different islands. But yeah, I think we'll definitely it'll change political climate, because you'll have some billionaires who aren't active investors and just give their money to hedge funds to do things, and those billionaires won't exist anymore. I mean, they might be smart enough to have some holdings offshore so that they, have got a cushion, but some of them might not have anything once this is over. Michael Jordan dumped, hundreds of millions of dollars into Melvin, and Melvin lost him $500 billion in wealth by March because of GameStop. So, we're going to see upheaval for sure. Project Sound, I'm supposed to fly across country next month, even though I'm vaxxed. I'm already getting nervous about being on a plane for hours with randoms. Lost a vax buddy COVID last week. Oh man, I'm sorry. Did you feel safe? No. I left my mask on the entire time. I didn't drink or eat. I refused to take my mask off on the plane. I had a horrible anti-masker guy behind me on the plane, and the flight attendant kept coming by saying, "Sir, can you please put on your mask?" And he was like, "Why?" And she's like, "Because it's the law." And he's like, "Oh." And every time she'd leave, he'd be like, "Oh, that bitch," or whatever. And finally turned around and was like, "Buddy, put on your mask." And hopefully he did. Because the mask can protect you from two things. Catching the virus and catching these hands, if you know what I mean. So just wear your mask on the plane. Get hydrated and well fed before you get on the plane, and just don't take your mask off on the plane on that disease tube. The plane wasn't that full. Maybe every other seat had someone in it, so I didn't feel like anyone was like breathing on me or anything. So that was nice. But I did have that clown behind me. Nick Callis, remember that cartel guy who had plastic surgery make him look like a woman to avoid capture but was caught anyway? How do you think he's doing? I have no idea who you're talking about, but I'm sure he's regretting the surgery now? I don't know. Maybe that's what he wanted all the end. Plan didn't work. Best villain of all time is Q from Star Trek, followed by second by the Borg. The Borg is a good villain. Well, Q kind of became, like, by the time you get into Voyager, Q is not so much a villain as like a buddy. He loved Captain Janeway. He would do anything for her. He wanted her to make his babies. So I think Q grew on them, but the Borg were gnarly. Tensai, is it possible that Melvin was bankrupted ages ago? Their website has no tabs, just an office address. Oftentimes, groups like that do. They have very simple web pages. Like, if you're trying to contact a Hollywood agent or a production company or something, sometimes they just have, like, you know, williammorris.com. And there's nowhere in there for contact or anything, because they just don't want randos calling them or contacting them. You know, they know that they represent everyone, so they don't really care about flashy advertising. Melvin, on the other hand, is having to come up with like hundreds of millions of dollars in cash for Citadel and 0.72. Who knows what shape they're in? I'm sure we'll get some reports as to losses stemming from sale of stocks and positions. We'll pay those guys back. Mark Mills, is Congress going to raise the debt ceiling, or we MOASS? Well, I'm sure Congress will raise the debt ceiling, but my guess is it's probably not going to be until the last minute. I wouldn't doubt if every senator and congressperson in the U.S. that insider trades, not all of them do. There's a certain group that refuse to own positions in stocks because they think it's wrong. But there's a lot more who do, and they trade on the insider information. And I have a feeling that all those folks probably have puts on the SPY, calls on the VIX, and they're going to wait for a downgrade in credit, or, you know, getting close to default before they do anything, because they want to make a bunch of cash first. And you know, politicians are scum. Not all of them, but most of them are scum. Oh shoot! Sorry, just clicked something wrong. Big Dog Stocks called out Jake Paul for a boxing match. All right. I mean, Jake Paul needs to actually box somebody in the prime for once, or go in a cage with an MMA fighter, because he keeps making these MMA fighters that are past their prime box them, and they're all about like tackling people and beating their heads into the ground. Ideas Matter 707. Hi, I bought into metamaterial today. Can you give resistance levels to buy at? Well, I mean, the goal is just buy as low as you want. I'm sure that there's a resistance level somewhere around $6, because that's what it bounced off of. I wouldn't doubt we'll see resistance levels at big round numbers like $10, $12, up to $20. But I totally thought metamaterial will be screaming this week. You know, it's revealed that their float is about 100 million shares smaller than what gets advertised, because there's still MMAX, which is the Canadian traded metamaterial, and the CEO of that is the former CEO of Torchlight, I believe, and that's 100 million shares, but it gets counted in the float for the NASDAQ traded metamaterial stock. So the total shares read as 280 million when really it's actually 180 million. So that means the recorded short interest by FINRA and Ortex and S3 is actually twice as large as what's being reported, and still none of that includes any of the shorted shares of Torchlight left over from before the merger, which, you know, could be hundreds of millions or billions of shares, because they got shorted down to like 21 cents. So metamaterial is just a mess. It's like somebody, like, I don't know, took a bucket full of like earbuds and just shook them and tied them into a knot and then threw them in a room and told people to unravel it. I think that's the state that metamaterial stock is at right now. Someone has to go, oh, gotta unravel all those earbuds. Nick Callis, wouldn't it be great if Kenny and Gabe had to go on the run and had surgery to look like women to avoid capture but get caught anyway? Oh, and then it's like the end of Thelma and Louise, and they give each other a big smooch and drive off a cliff. Menehune water, local water. Oh, stay water, stay. Mike Angelo, have you had a chance to check out PMCB for the past